Hello everybody and welcome back to Esports Talk. My name is Caleb and today we're getting an update on the Activision Blizzard strike situation. After nearly a month of active protesting, the ABK Workers Alliance have finally gotten some information from Activision Blizzard, but they're not exactly happy about the information, or more specifically, the manner in which it was received. We're talking about a situation that has been going on since early December of last year in response to a decision by Activision Blizzard to lay off 12 workers at the Raven Software QA department. The entirety of the QA department decided to strike in solidarity. Initially, it was just a walkout, evolved to a full-scale strike, backed by a strike fund raised by a GoFundMe that is currently, as of time of recording, sitting at about $360,000. In response, Activision Blizzard was deathly silent for a good long stretch of time, but now, finally, we have some updates to move in on. And like I said, things aren't exactly going well in terms of the wishes of the striking workers. To briefly recap the story so far, on December 6, 2021, as stated by Jason Schreier on Twitter, most of a team of around 40 QA testers at Raven Software, which works on Call of Duty Warzone, are walking off of the job to protest a sudden layoff that began on Friday. They say they'll be walking out until the layoff is reversed. Activision gave this initial statement on the walkout: "We are converting approximately 500 temporary workers to full-time employees in the coming months. Unfortunately, as part of this change, we have also notified 20 temporary workers across studios that their contracts would not be extended." Now, of course, it's important to acknowledge that layoffs for this variety, temporary workers, contract employees not getting said contracts extended, is not at all uncommon in this industry. But, of course, not everybody working in the industry is happy that that is the status quo. But there are, of course, aggravating circumstances to this particular instance that make things more upsetting than even the norm. Once again, we turn to Twitter for a statement from Austin O'Brien, Associate Community Manager for Raven Software, who says, "I am gutted right now. My friends in QA at Raven were promised for months that Activision was working towards a pay restructure to increase their wages. Today, one by one, valuable members of the team were called into meetings and told they were being let go. These people were asked to relocate to Madison, Wisconsin to work here. Now they're out of a job on January 28th. Our QA team does incredible work, but this will not only increase their workload, but crush morale." The walkout would eventually evolve into a full-scale strike involving not just Raven Software's QA team, but QA members from other teams, and that was where the story ended for a good stretch of time, hence why it's been so long since there's been an update. But here's where things start to get interesting once again. January 3rd, the ABK Workers Alliance made a tweet stating, "Today is the third week in which employees across the company are striking in solidarity with Raven QA in response to surprise layoffs. Having had no response from our leadership, Raven QA sent the following letter earlier today." The letter states that for the third work week in a row, they had received no communications regarding their demands at all from members of the QA department, including that the laid-off employees be offered full-time positions. They list the specifics they would like to discuss, including relocation packages for the workers who moved to Wisconsin, and left the door open to future discussions. 3 days later, January 6th, Activision Blizzard does respond, but not to the Alliance. Instead, in response to an article posted to gamesindustry.biz on January 5th, a spokesperson reached out to them and issued the following statement, which was then published to the article in an update on the 6th. It states, quote, "Activision is deeply committed to the well-being of all of our teams, including our QA workforce. Raven leadership has engaged in dialogue with the staff to hear concerns and explain the company's overall investment in development resources. As previously announced, we are growing our overall investment in development and operations resources and converting nearly 500 temporary workers to full-time employees across our studios, the largest conversion in Activision's history. For the 12 temporary workers at Raven whose agreements were not extended, we provided an extended notice period, included payment for a 2-week holiday break, and will be working directly with those that need relocation assistance. Raven is full of people dedicated to improving the culture at Activision, and we look forward to partnering with employees that do work together." Unsurprisingly, the workers were not happy to wake up to a statement claiming they had been worked with when they assert that they have not been contacted directly about their demands since this whole debacle began. Instead, we once again take to Twitter to look at this statement. Posted the very same day, the Alliance states, "Prior to the layoffs of 12 Raven testers, Raven QA, a department consisting of more than 35 people, had only 4 full-time employees. The rest of Raven's QA testers were considered temporary, although some have been with the studio for up to 4 years and worked on nearly half a dozen Call of Duty titles." They go on to note that inevitably, the extra workload will be pushed off on other locations, which themselves rely heavily on temp workers, and state that the practice should come to an end. The Alliance continues to stand firm, and given the current state of Warzone, it looks like Activision Blizzard is fighting a war on 2 fronts. With all the bugs, glitches, and balance issues currently plaguing the game, not to mention the general bad PR of the many allegations against the company and its management, including CEO Bobby Kotick, now seems like a tough time to find replacements for your very experienced QA employees. Whether or not the bind that Activision Blizzard finds themselves in will be enough added pressure for them to finally open up formal negotiations with the Alliance remains to be seen, but one way or another, we will be there keeping an eye on the situation, and as soon as more news breaks, as soon as there's another statement made by any involved party, we will make sure to keep you all updated as well. The future of Warzone and of many Activision titles, and potentially with the unionization push and the general potential backlash of this entire situation breaking one way or another, a lot of the games industry could feel the ripple effects of the decisions made here. It's very, very pivotal in my opinion, and I look forward to seeing more updates on the situation. But what do you folks out there think? Do you think that this pressure is enough that Activision Blizzard might actually cave and give in to some or all of these demands? Do you feel like this strike is going to have to go on much longer before we see many updates? Once again, as of recording, there are still fresh donations coming in to that GoFundMe page you can take a look at here, and we may yet see that might be able to help them weather the storm for quite some time to come. So the battle might be one in which they're more than willing to continue going toe-to-toe even with the likes of Activision Blizzard. One way or another, we'll be there with more updates once more updates can be found. Until then, folks, my name is Caleb. Have yourselves a good one.